3. Welcome, everyone. It's been about a 2-week hiatus. This is Amir, your co-host for the Global Coin Report with Mark Yagala, Chief Editor of Global Coin Report. I just want to remind everyone, brief disclosure, none of what we speak about is investment advice. We're not investment advisors. Please seek your own investment advisor and do your own research. With that out of the way, welcome back, Mark. I know it's been a little while. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy I wasn't on the last video. No one can point any fingers at me.
They can point the finger at me. They might be pointing both kinds of fingers at me, actually.
Amir, no one saw this coming. This drop from 6,200 to 4,200. Some people are going to give Tone Vay's credit, but I think he just got lucky. I mean, he went short at 6,100. That looked like an asinine move in almost everyone's opinion, but it worked out. And the thinking that everyone had was that when the market dropped, there was going to be a lot of bids to defend the price, and unfortunately, it's been more sellers than buyers, and that's why we're down.
So tell us a little, Mark. You had mentioned. Sorry, I interrupted you. Did you want to say something else?
Yeah, I was going to get into the Bitcoin Cash.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you about, because I want to learn a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about what the dynamic is between Craig Wright, Roger Ver, Jihan Wu. Just give us a whole kind of universal look at that and a brief of what everybody's motives are and how that might be affecting price.
Yeah, you would probably know more on the lingo as far as the mining aspect of it, but what basically happened is you had a split among the miners or the visionaries or the people behind Bitcoin Cash. On one side, you have Bitcoin Cash ABC, which is Roger Ver and Jihan Wu. They have their vision for how it should be going forward. And then on the other side, you have Fake Toshi, Craig Wright, and Calvin Ayre with their vision, and they're calling it BCHSV, which is for Satoshi's vision. I'm not going to get into who's right or wrong on it in terms of if either party is correct. I think both parties are wrong in the sense that they fucked everybody.
Yeah.
They fucked themselves. They screwed over everyone that was holding Bitcoin Cash. And, I think that stuff like this is what leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. When you go and you buy Bitcoin Cash and all of a sudden, there's a hard fork and you're just totally royally screwed.
I think it's important for the viewers also to understand, just maybe from a layman's term, why, when you say they fucked everybody, it's not just a matter of price, but what happens is when you do these hard forks and you get this infighting, what happens is people will look at it and say, how could this be a currency when these people are infighting, and then all of a sudden you have two currencies? There's no form of kind of universal acceptance. And then what happens is that people say, this is not a currency. Nobody can just decide that the US dollar is, not good, so I'm going to create my own US dollar. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So I think that is a very negative thing short term. But for BTC, for Bitcoin itself, this might actually strengthen Bitcoin, correct me if I'm wrong, in the long term, because Bitcoin doesn't have that kind of controversy yet. Nobody's challenging Bitcoin right now with a hard fork.
Yeah, I think with Bitcoin, there's just not enough, what would you say, there's not enough entities that control Bitcoin
Right.
that can basically get together and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But with Bitcoin Cash, the problem is that people have directed resources. Do they, they were focused on Bitcoin Cash. Well, now we have a hard fork. Which one do we mine? Then we should have been just focused strictly on mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Instead of we're now tied up with this Bitcoin Cash. So, it's a total mess. And on top of it, this fake Toshi, he's like a cancer.
Yeah.
He comes out with a tweet and, he basically is saying, I am Satoshi and I don't care if Bitcoin goes to $1,000. And, this is like, hello, SEC, red flags. And no one's saying he's Satoshi, but the fact that he can come out and publicly say, put it this way, I'm 100% in denial that he's Satoshi.
Yeah.
I mean, but the fact that this is market manipulation, and in the sense that
it's horrible.
And let's face it, his tweet. He comes out and says this, and within this 10-day period, Bitcoin drops $2,000.
Yeah. The question is, if I said to you that was designed and that there was manipulation involved, I guess the question would be, what are the motives behind taking Bitcoin down so low so quickly? Like, do you think it's for them to load up on it somewhere and then take it back up, or what do you think?
That is, I'm skeptical. I just don't think anyone has enough power to really move the market this much. I think a lot of it was panic selling by we got Thanksgiving coming up, and there's still a lot of weak hands that were holding, and they thought 5,700 was going to hold. The lows were in, and they wake up the next day and they see 5,500, 5,400. I think you got some panic sellers that just look. Let me get out with something.
Yeah.
Look, we're at a point right now where we are at peak bearishness. It's hard to find anyone that is bullish right now. And, even people that are buying here, I mean, I'm cautiously buying, slowly, just it's still not convincing that we've hit bottom yet. It's very scary time right now. With that being said, I think that is a positive sign in the sense that, look, when everyone's bullish, the contrarian, view is usually the correct one.
Yeah.
I think we've seen it this year with Bitcoin. When everyone's been bullish, they've been wrong. And then, when everyone was bearish, like, oh my God, it's 6,200, we're going lower, that was the time to be buying it.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of people this time, because it stayed in such a tight range for so long. I think just the market became complacent.
Yeah.
I think no one thought, oh, it's not going lower. It's a stable coin. It's and the reality is it's a market like any other market, and it's supply and demand, and here we are today.
Yeah, I agree. And tell us, Mark, a little bit, you want to talk a little bit about altcoins, anything that you see going on in the market?
Everything's gotten killed. Right now, all you can do is hopefully you've had some cash on the sidelines that you can nibble. I'm not saying for anyone to go in and double up on all their positions, but, slowly weed in, go in limit orders and accumulate your position. Because look, if you are a long-term believer, you should look at this as a gift from God, an opportunity to get in lower, build a nice solid position, and then just ride it out.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say one thing about that also from the mining perspective. We have some clients that are scared and are sitting on the sidelines. And then on the other hand, we've got some clients that have piled in. And I can never give them investment advice, but I always look at the ones that are piling in and I say, look, prices right now, okay, let me take a step back, tell you a little bit about what's going on in mining. There was a glut in 6 months ago where everybody was piling in and throwing money into mining. What that did was difficulty shot up, right? Now you have all these mining farms that have high costs, high electricity costs and operational costs. And then all of a sudden this happens, and now you've got people that are getting rid of their rigs, and there's a secondary market for pre-owned rigs, and we're picking up machines for a fraction of the cost right now, and we're providing them, you know, at these prices to our customers. They've grabbed them, but the ones that are grabbing them that are buying 40 or 50 at a time are in it for the long run. So I definitely would echo what you're saying. Do not, if you have a short-term view at this, or if you're getting involved in mining because of like the monthly return, don't do it, because you're not understanding the game. But if you have a long-term view and you're not looking to, you know, spend your cash flow on you know, you're not going to need your money every month to spend, these are really good times to get in. I mean, it's a fact with all investments. This is how people make big money.
Yep.
So, all right. And so I think we've covered pretty much, you know, the main things. I noticed there's an article on Global Coin Report right now and entitled "How and When Electronium Mass Adoption Will Catch Fire." And I want to talk briefly about a coin that I'm covering in over the next few weeks. I can't give the name out just yet, but it is very similar to Electronium in the sense that it's targeting the unbanked market. However, it's doing it from a little bit of a different perspective, whereas Electronium, I think, has its roots in gaming and mobile gaming and stuff like that. This company is established as more of a financial mediary. So, for example, if you want to send money to Mexico, if you're in the United States and you want to send money to Mexico, they've basically created the infrastructure where you can send their token, and then they're working with financial institutions, some of which have yet to be announced, where those tokens can be immediately converted into the local currency. This is basically what you would call Western Union 2.0 type of thing. It really is a much cheaper money transfer. The management team is well experienced, well educated, and they've got some really important partnerships coming up. And so without being able to say the name, I just kind of am putting this out there because I'm going to have them on the show and we'll write about them. But I think it's just important for people to be aware that there are still opportunities out there. If you can spend time researching and learning about them, it could pay off quite a bit. I got lucky and got involved with them very early.
Great. Yeah. No. This is the time. It's to ride it out, and you know, I believe better days are ahead. But right now, you just got to keep your chin up and keep going forward.
Exactly. Okay. Well, look, we're going to do our show again next week. This one, this is it for this one. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and for supporting us. And if you haven't had an opportunity to look at the Global Coin Elite Report, please do that because there'll be a lot of good picks there, and we'll go from there. Okay, very good.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.